Good night, everybody. Everybody hear me?
Hello.
I
Yeah,
can hear
good.
you.
How you doing?
I'm good,
Hi.
thank you.
Yeah, tonight we're going to focus on the financial statements, the three of them, and we're going to look at the exam in reference to understanding what is required of you and everything, is it?
Okay.
Like in the training manual, everybody see the slide?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can see the slide.
Of course, we discussed the three financial statements. You all had assignments on them, and all
Yes.
I'm going to do is reinforce what you've learned
Mhm.
and identify some important things. The first thing is the income statement,
Mhm.
and note that the income statement is also called the profit and loss statement. That's very important.
Okay.
And it could be either a year, quarter, or a month, depending on when the business want to release its information to the either the general public or the management team or to the staff or to the bankers.
Okay.
And of course, there's 5 categories in income statement.
Okay.
And of course, the revenue could be a cash or charge sales. Of course, your cost of services and goods sold is your cash or charge purchases. And the gross profit is your revenue minus cost. So that's very important that the gross profit equals revenue minus cost.
Okay.
Businesses must ensure that they have a significant amount of gross profit to take care of their 20 expenses that I discussed in the first class.
Okay.
That's the cash and charge expenses. Like indicated in the first class, the cash and charge, the charge expenses is basically BC, BPL, and BTC and cable and all those things that you will pay on a monthly basis after you charge them. And your net profit is your gross profit minus expenses.
Okay.
Now, the real situation within a business is to ensure that your profit is keep on going on and there's relatively no loss. And the only way you can get a profit, basically, if your gross profit is higher than those 20 expenses, which you can find on your training manual on page 23. That's very important.
Okay.
And if you'll have a loss, if your gross profit is lower than the expenses, and nobody wants a net loss. And some things you have to remember that the difference between the cost and expenses are basically, in a nutshell, cost is what you buy to sell over to create a sale. It could be inventory, it could be raw materials, or anything like that. And of course, expenses, you don't sell expenses. They are support and facilitate the buy and selling of goods and services. That's very important.
Okay.
And of course, on page 23 in the training manual, you'll have those 20 expenses that some businesses have and some businesses don't. But it levels up to around, from my experience, around 20 expenses. And it's up to the business to identify on a monthly basis all those expenses.
Okay.
The next financial statement is your balance sheet. And the balance sheet is basically your net worth or your net equity. And what it does is just a simple snapshot if your business is financially stable. and that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the balance sheet is divided up in three categories: things you own, things you owe, and of course, equity, which is the assets minus liabilities. Everything in here is exam questions, and you got to memorize these equations and stuff like that.
Okay.
And the main formula for the balance sheet is basically your assets minus liabilities equal equity. And that's found on page 24 in the training manual. And of
Okay.
course, if you have more assets than liabilities, you're in good shape. But if you have more liabilities than assets, then you're bankrupt.
Okay.
And the cash flow statement is a very important statement, and it only deals with cash transactions, nothing else. No credit sales, no card sales, no credit purchases, charge purchases, or credit off. It only deals with cash, and cash don't lie. Either you have cash or you're not. And the cash flow statement do not record things and accounts receivable charges. And it only records payment and accounts. It record payment accounts for receivables, and it record payment accounts for payables. It doesn't not with no charges at all.
Okay.
And it really determines your cash position in the business. And in other words, how liquid you are to pay your monthly bills. Like when your rent come around, salaries and everything, it deals with that only. And of course, your cash is normally found in 4 locations: either the bank account, the cash drawer, pay the cash till, or debit card, not credit card now. So people say they have $20,000 cash on hand. The bank will ask them, okay, tell me exactly which of these 4 categories your cash are. So that's how you will know that if the person tell the truth or not, because they gotta explain to you exactly what is the cash position in these 4 areas.
Okay. I have a question.
Yeah.
You said accounts, the cash flow statement doesn't account for the accounts payable,
Right.
but what if you pay items found in the accounts payable with cash?
No, what happened is the accounts payable, right? The cash flow only deals with the payment on account in reference to when you go and you pay for products that you receive a month before. So the cash flow only look at the payments that you pay in for. It does not look at the charge what you got, because there was no cash. Because if you don't pay for it, then it won't affect the cash flow statement, you see?
Okay.
So when it comes to cash flow statement, it only deals with cash transaction, no charge. There'll be accounts receivable or accounts payable transactions like charge sales, charge expenses, and charge purchases. They are not hit the cash flow statement. That's why it's so important that businesses manage those accounts receivable. If the person could die or don't check for you no more when they get your stuff, but you still got to go and pay for your rent and light bill and the salaries at the end of the month. You see?
Okay. Got it.
And this is basically the 5 areas of the cash flow statement. Paid in cash, paid old cash, and of course the formula is cash flow surplus or deficit comes when your receipts is minus payment. If receipts is more than your payment, you have a cash flow surplus. If your payments is more than your receipts, you have a deficit. And of course, you got to add in the opening and closing balances of the cash. So it's so important that you have a good beginning cash and a healthy paid in cash from your cash sales and from your accounts receivable payment account. That's how you get your paid in receipts. Of course, you get your payout when it comes to the payments. The payout cash is when you pay for your monthly rent and light and water bill. Of course, when you pay for those charge purchases and charge expenses that you have to honor on a monthly basis.
Mhm.
That's why the cash flow statement is very important when it comes to accountants.
Quick question.
Yeah,
So for the petty cash, that would be the cash that is used each day for the business.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Right.
you
The
know,
petty
like
cash.
some businesses will
Yeah,
have like a petty cash total amount for their draw for that day,
yeah.
right?
You're right.
So that,
Yeah,
okay,
the petty cash is cash only, so it pays for
right.
that daily. Because what happened? What businesses don't want to do is mess up the daily sales cash with
Mm-hmm.
paying people stuff and for the bread and for the all kind of gas and all that.
Right.
It would mess up your daily cash
Okay.
deposits. You see.
But what if the business doesn't use a petty cash?
Well, in other words,
Like, what if they don't keep track of it? Like, how
no,
do
but
you go about, you
well,
know?
if a business have a petty cash system, they only should have a checking system
Okay.
because you're only supposed to mess with the cash in the drawer because that will encourage theft. So
Right.
as we go on in the training, you'll see where I will show you how to enter those petty cash transactions,
Mm-hmm.
which is so important. You see,
Okay.
yeah. So you're never supposed to mix up your daily cash with we paying in cash out. You should always establish a petty cash system, and that's like the third or fourth class we could deal with that.
Okay.
And the cash flow statement, all right.
Mm-hmm.
If it's the receipt is more than the payments, you have a cash flow. Um,
Surplus.
yeah, so yeah, that's supposed to be the payments. They have a cash flow payments. It's supposed to be surplus here. And if you have a cash flow deficit, it's less. That means you're in trouble. So you always supposed to have a positive. That's why you do monthly budgets and keep it in your budget. Because once you have a cash flow deficit every month, you go into the business very soon. All right. So that is the so basically that is the three financial statements that I want you to highlight because the output for QuickBooks accounting when you start entering these transactions is to get these three financial statements. And that's so important, is it?
Okay.
All right. Any final before we move on to the exam, any other questions in reference to this?
Um,
No, not, I
Okay.
don't have any.
don't
All
think I have any. No.
Okay.
The only one I had was about the cash, the petty cash.
Yeah,
You
that
answered.
we gotta deal with that because that's so important. Petty cash is very important, and we're gonna
I
touch on
agree.
a lot of
Yeah.
businesses. And in the old days, like I said before, the secretaries would take the petty cash and do buy hair stuffing, and then pray that her money come up before she get paid.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Now, the next thing we're gonna look at today is your exam. I send you the exam and exam questions, so you should have this and answers.
Yes. When is the exam?
Not up and now. I'll let you know exactly when the exam
Okay.
is. So
And
'cause after you finish what you want to do is start studying for the exam now, right?
Right.
And then because the now next class we'll be going over and entering the cash and charge purchases and cash and charge expenses, eh?
so I definitely will need to have a computer in hand for the next class.
Of course, and of course, because the
And
first thing, if you know indicate that you're supposed to key in the VAT setup transactions. I had to send that to you all how to key in the VAT sales and purchases transactions to set them up first, you see? But
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 we need the laptops need the QuickBooks software on it already.
yeah, yeah, what I could do, I'm gonna email you a link,
Mhm.
right? I'm gonna email you a link to actually download it to your computer. But also
I
I am going to provide one for you eventually. So when you come, you can send somebody to pick up the software in Nassau. So so you'll have a USB drive. So I'm going to keep you informed of that because you could once you have a USB drive, I could download the software to the USB
mm,
drive, and all you do is upload it to your computers. But in the meantime, I'll send you a link. That's good for a month, you see. But we discuss that
okay.
later. Okay.
Okay.
Now this is the exam here,
Okay.
and all this exam means is that it is all the answers in the book.
Right.
So you don't have to hurt your head about worry, but it's something from space. Everything's in the book. The only
Mm-hmm.
thing you have to be concerned about is determining where you answer question number 4, 19, or 20. And you remember I told you about question number 4. Make it right this
Mm-hmm.
time. The answer for question number 4, of course, is on page 5.
Okay.
And exactly how
So
it is in the book, you need to do it though.
so for the exam, question 4 is on page 5.
Right.
Okay. Is the exam in person or over Zoom?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to tell you for Family Island students, I'm going to let you know exactly what the criteria is it? So Durab and
Okay.
I will determine that later for you.
Okay.
And question number 19
Mhm.
is the table on page 11.
Okay.
And question number 20 is page number 23, the diagram, page 23.
Okay.
For because make a note that the exam is divided up in 2 categories, eh?
Okay.
The first section is question 1, right, to
Mhm.
18, except question number 4. So section 1 is question 1 to 18, except number 4.
Okay.
Section 2 is question number 4, 19, and 20.
Okay.
And for the exam, you have to select one out of those 3 for section number 2. You know, you don't do 4, 19, and 20 together. You select which one. My recommendation, and making of this, is that you would select either question number 4 or 19, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because 23 is for like more 2 to 4 year students who be doing this a long time, you see.
All right.
You can still do it, but it's more intense.
Memorize it.
Yeah, memorize is more
Do you
intense.
want it word for word? So let's
No,
say
no,
like,
it'll be
okay, you
word
see
for
how
word, but
question 1.
you
Okay.
can't give me income statement information for the
Right.
cash flow information, eh?
No, understood that. But I mean, like how question 1, you want the definition of the QuickBooks. What if
Yeah,
we reword that in our
yeah,
own
of
words?
course.
You don't have
Yeah,
it exactly
yeah,
how you have
yeah,
it.
yeah. You don't have to do this have to be this is just a guideline, right?
Okay.
See,
Got it.
only a study tool. See what happened I have here? Only a study tool right there.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But you suggested that we do question 4 and 19 over question 20, but I kind of see the answer to question 20 is the it look like it would be easier to memorize.
Not a problem. Whatever you do is up to you.
Yeah.
You, you
Anyway,
could,
going for 4.
Question
yeah,
19 is pretty long.
yeah. But
Mhm.
it increases, decreases.
Yeah.
Right. So, but you could, however you want, you could determine. Some people do 23, but the majority of people do well when they do question number 4,
That's
Okay.
right. So I go number 4 probably.
and they do somewhat well when they do question number 11, but they
Okay.
fail mostly on question number 23. That's right. But it's only a recommendation,
Okay.
but you can do all, you see. So what
Mhm.
I'm going to do, so what you want to do now, for people who don't have the software on the computer, I will
Mhm.
email the software to you, and then you download it to your computer, and then all you have to do is when you click on it, it automatically downloads to your computer, and then we'll start working with the software, you see.
Okay, that was going to be my next question
Right. And what I want you to do
because
for
I.
people who don't have it, all you got to do now is to get a USB drive,
Mhm.
get it to me. I'll show you where my location is in Nassau,
Mhm.
and all you got to do is send somebody, and I will download the USB drive. I mean, the software on the USB drive.
Oh, I just came from Nassau today.
Yeah, yeah. But between now and then, you'll find somebody, whatever. Then we'll just move from there, you see. But you're going to get a software, QuickBooks software that you have forever. They have the passwords
Okay.
and registration and everything, you see.
Okay.
So in the meantime, what you want to do now before next class is start doing your studying,
Mhm.
and then for this, because
Okay.
the only output from the course is the exam,
Okay.
right? Because the practical is very easy, and I will actually the next class will be focusing on entering those cash and charge sales and not sales, cash and charge purchases, cash and charge
Okay.
expenses, and cash and charge, yeah, purchases and expenses.
Class.
And the first thing you need to do is to set up your VAT first. The VAT
Okay.
setup and the VAT. And I already gave you all the information on how to do that. And if any challenge, I just reinforce that what you want to do first. I'll just send it back to you and I'll tell you exactly what you need to do first. Eh?
The VAT
Okay.
app is one of the first emails you sent us.
Exactly, of course. Yeah. But I'm gonna resend it back to you so you can actually have it closer to your inbox. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So any last questions?
No.
When is the next class? That's
Well,
you
the
said.
next class, what we would do is, the next class would be based on you all two get together, and then if you all can't do it together, then I'm gonna
Oh,
send
same.
a what I call a video how to enter the VAT setup, how to enter the VAT purchases, and expenses, also how to enter the expenses and purchases. I will send you video in advance.
Okay.
And then I want you to start entering it. And then if you have problems, then we could always have a class on it too, you see?
Okay.
Because I want you to practice. So that normally I send
Right.
videos, you practice, and then you say, well, Mr. Tankworth, I know how to do it. And then you would send me a snapshot of the screen before you enter the send button, you see?
Okay.
But I'll let you know exactly what is expected going
Okay.
forward.
Okay. All right.
And going forward, the classes don't have to be with y'all too. It could be one-on-one with each one of y'all separately, depending on
Oh,
things. You
okay.
see?
Depending on
Okay.
the schedule.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions, but because you pretty much answered my questions, but now that you said that we're going to be entering, just a side note, so the guy that I'm going to be working for already gave me some invoices to put in, but I don't know, so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to learning
Yeah.
steps
Yeah.
as March is approaching.
Right. That's what we So on Sunday, I already send you videos on how to enter, the cash purchases, cash expenses,
Right.
cash expenses, and charge expenses, and credit card purchases, and credit card expenses. I send all that to you all. You see? But I want you
Okay.
to look at that, and then you can start practicing, and then we'll move from there. And then when we have a meeting, then you will say, well, I know how to do it, or I do not know how to do it. It's be strictly one-on-one
Okay.
too. Okay?
Okay.
Um,
That's
I
fine.
I have a question too. Okay, like for because basically we both are just gonna be starting to play
Huh?
with the quick. We both will be starting to play with the QuickBooks system because she's gonna be working for a company doing this, and I'm gonna be doing for another company. So basically what I wanted to ask is if we play with it and we make a mistake, is it like can you erase it from the system? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yes. You could,
With the
yeah,
company.
yeah, you can erase it. I'll show you how to do that, all that stuff.
All
Okay.
right, okay.
And you guys ask me questions too. Not a problem.
Okay, all
Okay.
right.
Perfect.
Okay?
Okay. Thanks.
All right,
Thank
take
you.
care. I'm gonna send you all the link, and you can start
Mhm.
downloading it on the computer on Monday.
Okay. The computer that the guy gave me for his company already has it, so I kind of
Oh,
already played around with it.
oh, not a problem.
But
Right, right.
I didn't enter anything as yet.
Okay, not a problem. So what you
Okay.
want to do is and just keep me abreast exactly what you're doing and what you want to do. And I can coach you one-on-one how to enter the information.
Perfect.
Okay? All
All
right.
right.
Okay, y'all take care now. All right.
You
All
too.
right. You too.